Welcome to the Real Talk with Missy and Fabio.
The honest side of real estate with all you must know to survive in this market.
Welcome, people. We have today an amazing podcast. Did I say
As
that right?
usual.
As usual, yeah. But we have two ladies that I really love that, but what they're doing, because it's really something that we need to help more people in our community. And work on Loisann, work on Cait. And this is Missy. Do you want to say anything to...
Well, I'm going to ask, when we get through the podcast, if you guys have any questions, please put any of your questions in the comments, and then we will drop their information in the bottom, the description for the podcast event, and that way you guys will be able to reach out to them. If you have any questions, you need a volunteer or bring whatever we can do to help them out, that information will be there. So stay tuned.
Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here. We connected in this, as you say, organic way. And it wasn't, and then lastly, we saw each other at the chamber event and said, Lisa, come on out and do a podcast with us. So we're here today.
Yay.
What about Cait?
I'm excited to meet you all. I'm excited to be here and just talk about the impact that Loisann's Hope House is making in the community. Thank you for having us.
So I want you just to reiterate it real clearly so everybody can hear where you're from.
So I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Loisann's Hope House, and as people always say, my tagline is, we're the first and we're the largest family homeless shelter in the region. Really? So we cover Stafford County, Spotsylvania, King George, Caroline, and the city. We're located in the city of Fredericksburg.
Wow.
We've been around for 35 years.
Yeah, did you guys just get a facelift a little bit ago? The house?
Yes.
Actually?
So we now we started out with 2 homes.
Mm-hmm.
We
side by side on Lafayette, right?
Well, no,
Where were they?
Front and back. So 902 Lafayette.
Okay.
And there was a small cottage designed and built by volunteers to add additional space. Mm-hmm. Then probably 13, 14 years ago, we were presented with a wonderful opportunity of $100,000. The board of directors decided to match that, and they purchased a beauty salon that was next door, which is 900 Lafayette. Okay. And so that became the home of 4 additional families. So in total, for years, we could house 13 families. Recently, during COVID and the number of changes that were occurring, we now have 6 homes.
Wow.
We hold up to 19 families.
That's awesome.
And we have a campus.
We're taking over Lafayette.
Oh my God.
People always say that. You guys
my favorite chiropractor's there too.
Yes,
right beside us.
Yes.
Well, that's a nice area to be honest.
So
what's changing? You're making it happen.
So you have to understand. You're right. It's the best place to be because of access.
Yeah.
Right.
So those who may not have vehicles have access to
the Fred
bus.
That's right there.
The other is if somebody needs something very quickly from a store, they go across the street to the 7-Eleven. If they don't have a car, they could also walk downtown into a restaurant to purchase anything, and to also potentially work.
Yeah.
So you have the ability to walk through also University of Mary Washington and get to Central Park if you wanted to. There's so it's an advantage to be where we are, because a lot of people always ask us, would you consider moving your campus somewhere else? And no, we would not.
Well, the hospital's there. I mean, everything is really close for everybody.
Right.
Anything.
Right.
Very
and
cool.
again, we have 19 families, the school bus access with the schools, because we have so many children. So we are definitely a family shelter. In order to come into our shelter, you have to have children. Now, families are defined by families.
Yes.
So it could be a grandma, it could be the grandma with the children, it could be a father. We've had a number of single dads. So we are very open to what a family looks like, because all we want to do is get those children off the streets into a warm bed with their families, and then stabilize them, and then move them out into their own homes. That's our mission. That's our end goal.
So what happened when somebody that's run out of money, or they have money, or they don't have, they are homeless? What do they need to do in order to be able to get into the house.
Yeah, I'm going to let Cait share that.
Sure, yes. So we have our family shelter program. However, we administer 7 programs within the region. So we've expanded pretty significantly. One of those is the homelessness helpline. So that is your one-stop shop for anyone in the region that's experiencing any sort of housing crisis. That could be if they're outside, if they're in the car. That could be folks that are in the eviction process. They're encouraged to call one centralized number. So the way that it used to work is if I was in one of those situations, I might call every single agency in the region to figure out who can help me, who has the space to accommodate my family, who has the funding to do so. And then we realized that is not very helpful when you're in the midst of crisis. So the homelessness helpline was created with the intention to make it easier for folks to access services, and we can help them navigate all of the available resources within the entire area. So once they call that number, they go through a screening with one of our trained staff, and they determine what intervention is the most appropriate. We refer to several different programs within the region, including the fabulous Loisann's Hope House Family Shelter. So we're also doing our due diligence and keeping up with folks that have reached out to us to make sure that they have access to different services that are going to help their situation.
Okay.
So most people don't realize that we are in strong partnership. It's vital within our community, so it's a system. We are in partnership with Thurman Brisbane Center, with Empower House, domestic violence, with Micah Ministries for day services and the winter cold shelter. We also partner with the United Way, with the school system, Stafford County School System, the city of Fredericksburg to prevent those from going into homelessness. There's a montage of who we are and what we do to end homelessness within our community. And we're a key partner in doing that.
It's just amazing to me right now. It seems like there's going to be more.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we as in our profession, just trying to find people a home that they can afford. And then the rents are so insanely high. Who can even rent? Who can rent around here that is employed in the school district, or they're not being paid enough to afford the rent?
Right. So
which is scary.
There is a number of audiences who are challenged with finding housing, and so we have those who have salaried jobs, full employment, and we look at those individuals and the community members, and it could be a school teacher, it could be a firefighter, a police officer, it could be so many people that have consistent work. But then you look at your homeless population who are doing multiple jobs and they're being paid part-time wages. Maybe even not part-time wages.
No sick
and
leave.
So no sick leave, no
medical.
benefits, no medical. And so when those people, have to be out sick, they lose their job. And so then they're searching for another employment option. But you're correct. Because of COVID, because of just the economy, housing has increased. So what could have been $800-900 is now $13-14.
Yes.
Families can't manage that.
Right.
No.
And most often it's a single mom with children.
So how are you preparing these people? Obviously employment is one thing. I mean, is there something that we can do on our end? I mean, as far as I'm sure you already have a team of lenders and people that are just helping educate people on, their credit and how to gain value in that, so you can have a home.
Yeah, so you just answered us.
Okay.
You answered the question.
So you do. Okay.
So we do, what we love about our community and our stakeholders is they come in and they say, what can we do? And so we have a list of possibilities.
Awesome.
And it's all pro bono. You come in and you actually sit down and we create these classrooms. It was virtual 2 years ago and all of that, but now you can come into Hope House, sit down with our client base and talk about what their options are. Inform them, right, so that they're skilled and they have the knowledge. And sometimes it's hit or miss, but the opportunity is there. we have people that come in and sit down and do budgeting and finance with them. We have legal aid that comes in and talk about the legal aspects and to ensure that you are covered. And then we have realtors, that come in and talk to our client base about, what to look for and what options. We have a housing locator that, needs help in finding housing that's affordable. It needs to be affordable.
That will be our plug.
Yes.
Let me ask you, because it's always happened to the question with my language and the Spanish people. There's a lot of Spanish speakers that they don't know how to speak English at all, so it's hard for them to. Do you have like a program with the Spanish?
Oh yes, we don't have a program. Well, let me just say, we would love if we could have volunteers come in that speak a different language and have availability if we need them.
Oh,
we do, we have the Malaysia program, which helps us to dial into a system that has over 100
languages that
Oh,
we can
okay.
connect almost immediately. to
Okay,
translate.
perfect. That's great.
We need it desperately sometimes, and so we just make that phone call. Even when we get phone calls, so people call in and they share that they do not speak English, and so then we immediately call the
This
resource.
should never be a barrier to anyone accessing services.
So another question I was asking, because you already answered the question about, a lot of people think that's a misunderstanding that everybody that homeless is because they were drunk or they used to have a drug or stuff like that. And I told you before that was very related to homeless, because in a way I was a homeless when I came over here. I just spent with my sister-in-law for 2 years, which is amazing, and I'm very grateful. But at the same time, I felt like, oh my God, this is so related to me.
Right.
Because I just came new, I don't have any money at all.
Right.
So me and my family, we have to come, and we were homeless.
Yes. I remember the story, and it was very emotional, and there's tears. There's always tears.
Oh, yes.
Before I started with Loisann's Hope House, I was always in the nonprofit world. And there's unfortunate things that happen in the nonprofit world. People are let go because the funding is not there. And so I was not working either. And so you build the emotion around, this is impacting my life, and you're in fear. So most people, as you said, and we talked about previously, are always have the thought that it's someone on the corner that's panhandling.
It's a stigma.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, it is. And it is not. So we've had in our program people with a PhD. We have had school teachers.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Military.
We've had veterans. 1 year we had 11 families back to back. And I said, what is going on? They should not be homeless.
Right.
True.
And it's a true struggle, and people are at their lowest when they're seeking assistance and they walk in those doors, and we're here to pop them up and to love on them and nurture them until they feel better and their self-esteem is built. It takes you way down to ask for assistance
to be humble
and to go into a shelter.
You've given up everything in your heart and your pride. To me, I think
the pride is really tough,
probably the
because
hardest
as
thing.
as a man, you say you are a provider, and then you see your whole kids and everybody come to you, even that they love you and they didn't say, they don't point at you, but you in your mind you start thinking about I failed them, because in my case I made a lot of mistakes, but anyway. But
we all do.
Yeah,
That's the thing that I want to share with people, is that we all make mistakes in life,
true.
and some of us recover better than others, and we all need help.
That's true.
We all need help in some way, shape, form. We all need help,
But
and
it's
we
really
need
not
faith too.
sometimes their fault. It's not your mistake.
No.
It's the circumstances, or
the circumstances.
somebody. I'm sure there are health issues, or a fire, or the kids got really sick, and you can't afford.
That is true, but in
It's
some
crazy.
point, as a human being, we always have to blame in something. So we
Blame
try
somebody
always
else.
to be victimized, and we say,
We say it's us.
I say
We
that
take
when you
the
fall
ownership.
down, now I say, because I say, well, I have to move forward, because I think of the thing that moves everything in life is, besides God, is love. You know, love is make you, you know, because one of the things that I say, my kids, like, they're grown up and everything, that not a problem, but anyway, I can see a lot of people that struggle with that situation. They're young and they don't move forward. They have to kind of, how do you say that, your mindset.
Reconcile it.
Yeah,
mindset,
you have to mindset and say, okay, I learned from my experience. Now I'm moving forward. You know, that's something that people need to know about that.
Yeah, but they
that's
have
amazing.
to be brought up by other people. They have to be surrounded by
Yeah,
positive
yeah.
people
Right,
and
that's
loved
our,
on.
so that's our program,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I
so
read
when
about it,
they
yeah.
walk in the door and we hold them accountable, but we're the strongest aligned network for them, right? We have the community resources that we network them with, but also we're wanting to see them be better and do better, and we're their support system.
Yes.
So oftentimes when they walk in the door, you have to think about it, you're walking into a house that they have no expectation that this is the shelter. And they're like, this is the shelter? Wow. They walk into their room. Their rooms are set up with bunk beds, but it is bed in the bags that have been donated by the community. They're beautiful, brand new. They have all of the toiletries laid out for them. Everything that they need is right there. So they walk in the door and they cry. They truly do. Then they say, I didn't expect this, you know, thank you.
Yeah.
This means so much to us. 2 weeks later, when they realize they have to do chores, when they realize that we're saying, now, are you working? You have to find a job if you're not. And by the way, we need your pay stubs. Because we're tracking and holding you accountable.
Yes.
Accountable without judgment. And there may be people that come in that have a number of challenges, addiction, mental health. There's a number of challenges. We're there to work them through all of that. So they get a little upset with us because we're holding them accountable. We don't clean the houses, they clean the houses. But I will tell you, when they walk away, your heart is filled. We will miss them, but
how awesome.
Oh,
Yay, mission
it
accomplished.
is such a feeling of, and they feel it too.
Absolutely.
So they take the time and then they come back and say, and there's tears, and they say, I could not be where I am without you all.
Nice.
And the other is that they are so impressed with our community giving. And our community gives from the heart.
That's awesome.
Hope House would not be successful without our community.
Right, right.
Yeah, I'm so happy with talking to you guys because you feel like you're very passionate of you guys. That's amazing.
So
Helping people.
do you feel like your resources are depleted? I mean, do you
Yes.
need more? Do you need more homes? What's a prerequisite?
More clothes?
I just cleaned out my closet. I could have housed everybody.
Well, the thing is, and that's what you asked me that when we saw each other at a chamber event. So we don't need lightly used clothes. We used to take them, but it became a burden for us to process, and we weren't doing the work that was most important.
Yes.
So our needs are always, just think about what you use in your home daily. We need that for 19 families in our shelter.
Okay.
We're managing homes. And so we need the cleaning supplies. We need the dish detergents. We need all of those things that require you to live comfortably in shelter. The other is we are always financially in need. Right? We have programs where we're preventing people from going into homelessness, and that's where Cait comes in with the prevention and diversion. So people may call and say, you know, my car's not working. Well, if the car's not working, then you're not going to be able to get to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I can't afford the oil
I
bill.
can't. Yes.
Now that you're talking about cars, I heard about that you guys get the program. You get donate.
Yes,
vehicles.
please donate.
Give us cars, please.
They have to be in great condition because it's
Yeah.
going to a family who cannot do mechanical repairs and all of that, but they need the vehicles to get back and forth. And remember, these are families with children. So it is really helpful. I will tell you, we just got a whole bunch of bikes from Geico. One of our dads, he had to turn in his old work vehicle, and so now he didn't have a car. The family doesn't have a car. Well, that bike from Geico is getting him back and forth from Lafayette to Route 17
Oh my goodness.
because his
Holy
job is paying him $17 an hour.
So he's gonna get there one way or the other.
That's right. So those are the we have so many stories, but those are the stories to tell, right?
Yeah.
The impact. So Geico didn't realize a bike would get somebody back and forth to work, making $17 that he doesn't want to give up because that's a great paying job.
I think that's a story that we need to share more people so that they can feel it like this is really happening.
Yeah, I think
Because-
a lot of people have no idea.
Yeah, we take it for granted our life, to be honest. You know, I was talking the other day that sometimes you just complain so many things, and you have to be grateful. So many people that have so many needs, and you didn't even realize it, you know, because you live your, let's say your bowl, you know, in your own word, and everything is good for you. So you say you don't care about, you know, don't think about the other people. Let me ask you, because I believe you have, at some point, this kind of problem. When did you have 6 houses? So let's say if it's all capacity full. So what we're going to be doing now?
So what do you do?
There is a waiting list.
There is.
It's unfortunate, but there is a waiting list. And so our effort is, and we support the Housing First model, is to, as quickly as possible, but based on their time frame, is get families into their own homes.
Okay.
So when a family moves out, we immediately go down that list and call the next family in.
Well, and I think part of it is also that prevention piece, preventing families from having to enter in altogether.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
if the shelters are full and you're staying with grandma, let's have a conversation with grandma and see if you can stay there a little bit longer.
Okay.
Our staff takes responsibility for that to try to see if we can reroute folks altogether, because homelessness is traumatic. That's for children and adults. So if we can prevent them from having to enter into that system, that's going to be our number one goal. So that prevention program is working with your folks that might be doubled up. They might be living with someone else. That creates its own tension in a living situation. They're in motels long term. We know how expensive that is. They have trouble saving up for a security deposit. And they're also going to be the households that have barriers in the rental process. We were saying the market is really bad right
Crazy.
now.
I know,
even if-
it's really tough.
Even
to
with an
rent.
800
Yeah.
credit score
Yeah.
and
Right.
paying for the whole
Yeah.
year up front,
Right.
these people can't
It's
win
so
a deal.
competitive.
They're doing escalation
Yeah.
clauses on
Yes,
rentals.
they are.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
It's
You know, I was
crazy
like,
right now.
it's
It's
just-
impossible to find something, especially when we're working with lots of folks that they have former evictions on their record.
Yes.
We even have, through our prevention program, older adults on fixed income.
Yes.
They're not making 3 times the monthly rent to afford a 1-bedroom.
Right.
And at that point in your life, that's a sense of pride to have your own place.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also work with people in the formal eviction process so that we can prevent them from having to try and locate something else and getting that eviction on their record. So we get families into shelter as quickly as we can, but if we can prevent that, we have a lot of safeguards in place to try to help them.
Are there any programs or anything that are being developed for, like, an apartment building, you know, or, you know, something that it would be more than just detached homes here and there? Is there anything like that that's being developed?
There's conversations within our district,
Small
our
houses, what are
community,
those?
the small
Tiny
houses,
homes.
tiny homes. So there's conversations about affordable housing and how do we develop that for our community.
Behind the power curve, they gotta
but
crank it up.
We
Yeah.
we agree.
I
We
mean, it's
agree, and it's a
it's
bit
just
of
sad.
a challenge.
Yeah.
It's
It
a
is,
bit of
it
a
is.
challenge. We always contemplate: do we go into property management or not?
Yeah.
It's always a thought.
That's
but
hard.
you have to
Property management is
it
hard.
is. And that's not where we want to go, but we contemplate it. The other is Central Virginia Housing Coalition is a
Yes.
partner.
Okay.
They provide affordable housing, and so you have to look across our region and see who are the vital partners to create this network of support. And so we work closely with
How about
them.
the big, I want to say, like, clean industry? Google, you know, all those people that are coming here.
Right.
What can they not be a generous donator for or something.
Right. So
big.
we are always exploring, and if anyone knows connections,
I was gonna say,
please send them our way.
put us in contact.
Because we
with the
want
right
to be in
person.
contact with Amazon. We want
That's
to be
what I'm
in
saying.
contact
As
with
some of these
Google.
big ones are coming here.
Yeah.
They're buying up the dirt. They're bringing a boatload of people. They're employing a boatload of people.
Right.
So that is squeezing our market also.
Right.
Yeah.
If I
you
see
know.
another Wawa
I don't know. And
or another
7-Eleven going up on the corner of
7-Eleven
Salem.
or
I'm like,
Cube
are you kidding me?
Storage.
Yeah.
The store is just everywhere now.
I'm like,
So
who's
why don't
putting
they
stuff
make
in
one of those
storage?
cube storage to convert to
Yeah.
Right.
residential? How cute
Right.
would that
It
be?
can make a real
It
impact.
really would be cute.
So I'm just saying that would if I was in your bucket and if I can think of, I would reach out to the big industry, the clean industry that's coming here and
Right.
saying, how can you help our community?
We always are. We always are. It's always knowing someone who knows
Yeah.
someone who could
Networking.
connect you.
You say like
It's
you
about
need
that
to
network.
meet 5 people that gonna
Yeah.
connect you
Yeah.
to somebody.
Yeah. But I'm always reaching out to, and I definitely make cold calls. Love to meet people and make those connections to, share. Like you, when you share the story, then people they become passionate and they hear the heartstrings of those who have been, impacted by a program.
That was my next question. How are you telling your story? I mean, it's hard because I'm sure the confidence and the privacy of whomever is a part of your program, they don't really, but how cool would it be
So
to be able to tell their story?
Right, so I would share with you, if you visit our website, loisannshopehouse.org, we have tons of stories.
Okay.
And
I clicked on it a little bit and there were
Yeah.
I saw
And it's our actual clients, after they leave the program, that want to tell the story. That would be
that's
awesome.
great.
You know,
Really
just
good.
a book that even
Yeah.
is not
Just
going
get
to
the new
cost
story, yeah.
anything, and just be able to put it out there.
Great
That would be
idea.
a little one.
Well, you got an idea.
A little
You
bit.
can do it. Something.
And
Yeah.
you
Wheels
all
spinning.
inviting us to this podcast. We do our newsletter through social media. We also have a Facebook page,
I know that.
loisannshopehouse.org. I say loisannshopehouse.org, but Facebook, Loisann Hope House. And so we're constantly trying to share those stories. We have events. We're getting ready to have our Trees
I heard
of
about that.
Hope,
Yeah, that
That's
one.
which is
awesome.
our annual event across our district. So many people get involved.
So it's gonna be 2 days.
It's 2 days. So one is a luncheon, and it always sells out. And tickets, we only have a few tickets left.
So
Oh my
what is
God, I
it?
have-
Tell about the event.
So the luncheon is the Trees of Hope luncheon, and we have folks come in and eat with us. We tell our story. We share a video of our families impacted, and you have an opportunity to see beautiful trees that have been designed. They're 3-foot trees that are literally designed by people within the community.
Nice.
And those trees are auctioned off.
Okay.
And it's auctioned, our auction closes, so our auction opens up that week, but it closes the next day at our cocktail party, and we identify at least 10 trees out of those 60 to 80 trees, 60 to 80 beautiful trees that you can walk away, go home with, and have for your holiday events. But there's about 10 of them that we go through a live auction. We've had trees sell for almost $5,000-$6,000.
Wow.
Well, that's
good.
give back.
That
Yeah.
it
It
is.
is give back.
And
That's
it's
awesome.
not about the tree.
No.
It's
It's
about the giving
about
back.
the cause,
the-
right? It's
yeah.
about the great cause. At the luncheon, we'll have vendors that are selling items that you can pick out and for gifts or
To
for
donate.
yourselves.
Okay,
Yeah,
very
and that part of that money goes to Loisann.
I'm gonna be there. I don't know.
It's
you.
going to be at the
When is
Woolen
it?
Mill.
You're not gonna be here.
I'm going to be cross country in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at the Woolen Mill, which is a new venue.
I heard about that. What is that?
It
Which
looks
one is that?
It's
awesome.
right across from Silk
Silk
Mill.
Silk Mill. It's
Oh,
the
okay.
building there.
Yeah.
Oh.
In the past 2 years, we've had an opportunity to have it hosted at Ashley Furniture Home Store. And that was given to us at no cost.
Oh.
And it was open because they had the store. So individuals could go in and out as much as they wanted. We had it for 2 weeks. when we have it at a venue, it costs us a good amount of money, and so we have it for a couple of days. But I loved having the opportunity to host it at the furniture store because many people could go in.
Oh, absolutely.
And just
you don't have to worry about
explore.
seating.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
there's all kinds of chairs and ottomans.
Michael Truitt was very, he's on our board, and he was
awesome.
very loving and caring and nurturing to have us hosted there.
That's great.
But people wanted to have the gatherings again and events. So
Well, we need that.
we
As a human being, we
need
listen,
a human
we
connection.
really
I'm a
do.
hugger, and I
Yes.
love to,
Yes. So you'll enjoy these two events.
So real quick, just to wind it up, tell a little bit about each of you all. I know you were nonprofit. You live in Fredericksburg. Or
I live in Stafford.
Oh, that's right.
So
Okay.
from New York.
yes, from Long Island,
Long
New
Island.
York.
That's where
Long
Yes, I
Island.
am. Long
Oh,
Island.
my
Lord.
Born and raised,
Oh.
spent most of my days.
And how did you end up here then?
So I was recruited. I went to Hampton University,
Oh, you
and I was
did?
recruited
Okay.
by the American Red Cross at the national level.
Okay.
I worked for the National Red Cross for 14 years.
Wow.
I loved every job I had. I went from there to the Points of Light Foundation, Industries for the Blind, Community and National Community and Volunteer Service. I can't even think of the Corporation for National Community Service, which is a federal government. But I lost my job and ended up at Loisann's Hope House, and I believe in faith and
That's
that
the
God
reason why.
Yeah.
brought me here.
That's the one. That's the one. We have to
Yeah.
believe in him.
So I've been at Hope House for 10 years.
So do you have
good.
children?
I have two. So when I lost my job, I had two children, and I have a house in Stafford, which I love Stafford. And so I had to maneuver and think of all the things. You know, I had the foundation, so my parents told me how to save money and do all those things. So that's what kept me going. But I also had to figure out what else I was going to do to sustain.
Yes.
So I rented out my basement. I watched HGTV, and they told me what to do. And it has been.
Thank God for HGTV, right?
It was my
Ha, ha,
lifesaver. It was my lifesaver. But you know, so I've been at Hope House for 10 years. Okay.
I actually have been in Fredericksburg my whole life.
What?
Born
There's not too many
here.
people around here.
Yes, so Mary Washington, I was born. I have lived here my whole life. I've been working in homeless services for about 8 years.
Okay.
And I've been with Hope House for 4 years. So for me, I was working further north, and I thought I really want to work within my community and make an impact within my community.
Good for you.
great.
Well,
So-
thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank
you
you
both.
both.
And
Thank
Cait
you
has
both.
been a true asset to the programming
That's awesome.
and the organization.
It's very nice that, I think you get to a certain age in life, which you're much younger than a lot of
All of
us.
us.
You want to go.
Really?
Well, no, but I mean, you
Oh,
have that
no.
reconciliation in your head. I need to go home.
Yeah.
I need to go home and be a part of the community that gave to me growing up, kind of deal
Exactly.
too. So, well, that's awesome. It didn't take you till you were 60 to figure it out.
Right.
We're lucky for that, for sure. So, well, very cool. Very cool.
Guys, thank you so much. It's really been wonderful. A lot of wonderful information. A lot of people know now that you can help because this is an institution that you need to help in a way, in any way. Anyway, even your time, but we need money.
Right, we do. It is, we do. So we receive grants to help the families move into housing, but we don't have a substantial amount of money to keep our shelters going.
So, and as we cross boots on the ground, running through homes, and if there's someone who says, I own it outright and I want to donate it.
Oh, send them to Loisann's Hope House.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
there may
is-
be some that need some love,
Right.
and then there's just people with their hearts that are in the right place a lot of times
Right.
too. And, they don't want it on the market. They don't want 50 people running through their house. They don't want to worry about renovating the kitchen. They would rather just
Go ahead and
donate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have naming rights too. If anyone is interested in having their name on a door
Okay.
or a building, we have those opportunities
Awesome.
to make a difference and leave a legacy. It's all
Absolutely.
about legacy.
That's true.
That's right.
That's
Wealth building and legacy. And a lot of people don't realize how important thinking about the generation to come.
Yes.
I mean, it's very interesting. We are just talking about some of the big conglomerate, big dime buying like whole neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Yes.
Buying entire neighborhoods up.
Yeah.
So that price point of the 200 to 400 price buyer, our kids will never be able to afford a home in that community because they're
Right.
they're not going to afford it. They can't because these people are holding them and renting them.
Well, they're losing money right now. So
Well, but they're renting them.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
I mean,
right.
they're taking away the
Yeah, yeah.
opportunity for the next generation to buy a home.
Right.
So, and we're not seeing it so much here, but in the bigger cities, outside of the cities, in the suburbs, where they know that it's a dime maker, and it's just sad. So we're hoping that nothing like that happens this way. We do have our cash buyer investor person, but you never know. There might be that one person that needs that tax write-off
Right.
Yeah.
for the year, and we can aim it this way.
We're here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you
so
guys. Thank you
much.
guys. Are you gonna wrap it up?
Yes, well, if you guys have not subscribed, please subscribe. If you've come back, thank you so much. And hit the little bell, and you'll get a notification each time Fabio and I put one of our podcasts up that is on YouTube, but we also are on Spotify. And we will have these ladies' information for you all. Please don't hesitate to reach out. If you have any questions, somebody will get back to you ASAP. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.
So glad you joined us today.
Please message us on Facebook, and Fabio and I will respond to all your questions as soon as possible,
Find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast.
or anywhere you listen to your podcasts.